Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to be showing you how I got this flawless base makeup with my dry skin. So if you'd like to see how I done this, then please just keep on watching. So I'm going to start with primer, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser, and I have been loving this recently to put in at the side of my nose on my cheek area, because that is the only place that you can see the pores on my face. You never used to be able to see my pores until after I had George, and now I can just see them a lot more. For the rest of my face I'm going to be going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Luminizing Primer, and this is amazing. It feels quite oily on the skin, and it just feels very nice and hydrating. It doesn't feel drying at all because of how kind of like greasy it feels. I always feel like I look like a tin man with this primer on my face. I'm going to go in with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in C1, and I'm going to put it on this area on my cheek just to cover up my spot. And I'm just going to blend it in with my finger to get maximum coverage. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour Full Coverage Foundation, and I'm going to be mixing in the Body Shop Lightning Drops just to make it my shade. And I'm just going to apply this to my face and then blend it in with my damp sponge. I really like the L'Oreal Luminizing Primer because it feels nice and soft on my skin, and it does make my face nice and glowy, and it doesn't make my dry skin noticeable, and this foundation does sit on it really nicely. I'm just going to add some more of this just to get a little bit more coverage in certain areas. I'm breaking out here a little bit. Well, not really breaking out, I'm having a reaction to my son's baby oil, because he does get some put on his hair for his cradle cap, and he rubs his face against mine and it always just breaks my skin out for some reason. I'm going to go back in with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, and I'm just going to be dotting a small amount of this on my face, and especially underneath my eye, because as I said in my last video, when I put too much of this on, it does crease really badly at the sides of my eyes when I smile. I didn't even do that straight. So I do just like to dot a little bit on at a time, blend it out with my finger, and then if I need any more coverage I will go in with a little bit more. And I really like this concealer because it does cover up pretty much everything on my skin. I do need to get the shade C2 so that I could use it over like any little spots of that over the top of my foundation. When I'm putting this concealer on underneath my eyes, I've found that if I put it slightly lower down, like in this area, then my under eye doesn't crease as much, like pretty much straight after it being applied, because I do get quite creasy under there. And I've found that if I have this lower down, then all the product isn't sitting in the creases, and it just looks a lot better. I'm going to cream contour. So before I do that, I'm going to use the Maybelline Masterfix loose setting powder. I forgot what I was saying there. And I'm just going to set underneath my eyes just before they do really crease. So I'm just going to be taking some of that powder on an eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to look up and blend the concealer out just to make sure that there is no creases, nothing. And then I'm just going to apply it. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Cream Contour Kit, and I'm going to be just using the contour and bronzer out of this, and I'm just going to start with the bronzer, and I'm just going to apply it slightly above where I would apply my contour. I really just cannot speak today. And then I'm going to go in with the contour side, and I'm going to do that where I would normally contour. Oh, I forgot to do my forehead. I'm going to use the little brush that came in the kit as well, because this is actually really good to blend out the cream contour products. And I'm just going to blend it out in circular motions. And I'm using cream contour and bronzer because I want to have more cream products on my face rather than contour, oh my god, rather than powders, because obviously with dry skin the powders will sit into all the little dry patches and just make it look 10 times worse, whereas if you use cream products, then you don't need to use as much powder, and it just stops your face from looking as dry. I'm going to go back in with my sponge, and I'm just going to dab it over the top of the contour and bronzer just to make sure that it is really blended out and to soak up any of the product that hasn't like settled into the skin. I'm going to use the Sleek highlight kit, and this is the Solstice one, and I'm going to go in with the cream highlight, and I'm just going to apply this onto the tops of my cheeks just to give a nice little glow. So as you can see, it has just gave us like a nice little glow, and I feel like sometimes if I go in with too much highlight, then it does just kind of look a bit cakey because of my dry skin, because it is normally like here that I get dry patches, and then it just doesn't look nice at all. So I'm going to go in with the setting powder, and I'm just going to lightly set where we put the cream contour and bronzer and the highlight, because I don't want to put put contour powder on, oh my god, why can I not speak, and then just brushing it and like moving all the product about. So I'm just setting it very lightly, and this powder is very lightweight as well, so it is good if you do have dry skin. I'm going to go back in with that little eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to set the top of my nose and in between my eyebrows. For contour and bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Makeup Revolution powder contour kit, and I'm going to use this shade to contour, and I'm going to use my little mermaid brush, and I'm just going to do this very lightly because we do have the cream product on. We don't need to contour and bronze it that much, so I do just like going in very lightly, and especially because I've got a spot here, I don't want to go too heavy handed because then it will just take all the foundation and concealer off the top of it. Then I'm going to go in with some of this shade, and I'm going to use a little angled brush, and I'm just going to use this just to help blend that contour shade out. And I'm still using a really light hand to do this, because as you can see we don't need a lot of product because we did all of the work with the cream contour and bronzer. I'm going to go in with the Collection Primed and Ready Makeup setting spray, and I'm going to spray this and dab it in with my sponge, just so that, not really to set everything, it's more to like help the product sink into the skin, and by pressing it in with a sponge it does just help it blend all together like really nicely. Then in with the sponge quickly before it dries. And to me it doesn't really matter what setting spray you use, as long as you just use a setting spray to help press everything in and set it. And I do really like that Collection one. It's just like, it's a very nice spray that's on it, and it just feels really quite refreshing spraying it on your skin. So as you can see, this bit is looking a bit dodgy, but that is from my son's baby oil, and I should have put some concealer here as well, but I forgot. But as you can see, it has covered that spot. By blending the contour product out with that brush, it has taken some of the coverage off it, but it is still mostly there. For highlight, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Skin Kiss highlighter in Frozen Kiss, and I absolutely love this highlighter. I'm pretty sure it's £5 and it is massive. So I'm just going to apply some of this very lightly to my cheeks, because I don't want it to get too cakey, because this is where I do get most of my dry patches, and I do have a little spot from my son's baby oil, and especially on this side because of where the spot is. So I'm just going to try and apply it above it so that it's not looking as like bright, so it's not like highlighting the spot, if you know what I mean. And some on my nose. And now that the highlight's done, I'm just going to go in with some more setting spray just to like set that in, and just to set the rest of my face and put more powder on, set the powder in even more. I do normally set my face like twice because I do feel like it helps sink all the products in and it just looks a lot nicer. And then dabbing it in with my sponge again. So this is how I get my flawless base. I should have put concealer there to cover that up, because if I had, then you wouldn't be able to see it as much. But this is how I get my flawless base with my dry skin, and I do really like how it looks. And now I'm just going to go and film another video on some eyeshadow, then I will be back to do my outro. So I just went and filmed a tutorial on this eyeshadow, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out. But this is how I get like a perfect base makeup for my dry skin. If my skin didn't take a reaction to my son's baby oil, then I wouldn't have this little patch here, and it would have looked fine. And then obviously the spot, but the spot is basically gone. You can't really see it anymore. You can just still see the lump on my skin obviously, but you can't see any of my dry patches. And I do have a really bad dry patch above my eyebrow, both of my eyebrows, and on my eye. Like, I can't even see it on my eye. You can see the little dot there from where the dry skin is. But this is just obviously how I do my base makeup. So I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!